Hi guys, this is Lalana. Thanks for tuning into the Sovereign Path. So today we're going to talk about trusting your soul, right? Trusting the soul that is you, trusting the higher self that is you, trusting consciousness, God, source, creation, all that is divine timing that is you on this path, right? So this is a big one, and I mean, I think I say that, I think I prefaced that through a lot of my videos, but this is yet another big one. And that is like, you know, this whole path, this whole thing that you are experiencing is being orchestrated by the soul that is you. It's being orchestrated by the higher self that is you, just at a higher vibratory state, right? So we have a tendency, the mind has a tendency, and certainly the ego constructs and patternings and programs have a tendency to always want to step in and to figure this thing out and to control it and to understand it and to all of those things that feel very natural and normal to the mind. And so it's not like that's a bad thing or a negative thing. It's a normal thing. It's what we have been experiencing for however many incarnations that we've been doing this, right? And so it's fine. But when we get onto the awakening path, when we get awakened and activated by the twin flame to go through our ascension, the mind and the ego is trying to, like, you know, push back, all those sort of things, fight back, you know, it wants to identify itself with everything. It wants to just like maintain control of the driver, right? Maintain control of the vessel that is you. And we have a hard time with, I know a lot of divine feminines, myself very, very, very much included, for a long time, had a hard time with the concept of surrender, the concept of letting go. Like, I was like, what the hell does that even mean? Like, I don't know how to let go, right? What does that even mean? And I'm certainly as hell not going to surrender, because surrender to me meant like giving up. And as an Aries, I just wanted to like fight my way through. It was just kind of like, bring it, and I'm just going to fight my way through it. But it doesn't work like that, right? It doesn't work like that. And so it took me a long time to really get into that surrender place and fully embodying of my divine feminine energy and essence to really yield to my soul, basically, the soul that is me, right? The consciousness that is me. But for in the beginning stages and in the middle stages, you know, we want so much, the ego mechanism and the mind wants so much to feel like it has a handle on all of these things, and it's not resonating or even registering or even like comprehending really that this whole path is being guided and orchestrated by you as the higher octave, higher vibration of you as a soul and of consciousness. And so when we're talking about surrender and we're talking about letting go, we're talking about trusting your own self, your own higher self who has got you, right? That's the thing. And I think it's a really important thing that we start to just like get a handle on, you know, is that you're being held, you're being supported, you're being guided at every single solitary turn that you could possibly imagine on this path, right? As I've said in other videos, you're not just out there alone trying to figure it out, right? You have an entire team who is also you at a higher octave, entire soul family who is assisting you through this path at every single solitary turn, right? These are all aspects of you. They are all aspects of source, of pure source consciousness, right? And so even the aspects that look like they are negative in some way, right? Because the mind is going to perceive certain things as negative and the mind is going to perceive certain things as positive based on its dualistic state. Regardless of what the mind is perceiving, these situations and experiences and people are still part of your path. They are still orchestrated by the higher self, you, to walk this path, right? So like I'm always talking about the divine masculine and trusting this process that you are being triggered because the soul is actually triggering you through the divine masculine to release these things, right? To have these things come up, to see where the blocks are, to see where the energy is still holding itself, you know, in a certain vibratory lower state. So we look at these external situations and we look at the external physical twin and we feel like we're just on our own, right? Whether it's my family doesn't understand me now because I'm going through awakening and they think this is crazy and I don't even know how to communicate anymore, or they don't get what I'm talking about, or they think I'm crazy, or, you know, same thing with friends, or, you know, my life is starting to like really do some strange things and things are starting to kind of fall away, and I have a tendency to want to hold on to certain aspects of my life because they're what I know and they're what are familiar to me and feel stable. You know, or my divine masculine is still just coming in and out and coming in and out, and I just feel like everything is in like chaosville, right? Going through the dark night, gifts are coming online, all kind of crazy shit's happening. You know, I get that you guys are saying that I'm going through an awakening, but you know, what's actually happening here? I feel like I'm completely losing control, right? The ego doesn't want that to happen, so it's going to do everything it can to regain that control. And in order to regain that control, it's going to try to start figuring things out. The mind's going to start trying to figure things out, thinking that it has a handle on this. We've gone over this in other videos. And so it's that construct, like all of those constructs, that we really have to look at and sort of sit back into that feminine receiving energy and just say, okay, you know, me as a soul, me as higher self has got me. Because that's why all of this stuff is starting to shift and change and look weird and feel weird, and everything is just kind of like, what the hell is going on? And my identity is shifting and my relationships are changing and things are going on, and I don't have control. But I want to have control because I want to feel safe in my having control. The surrender process on this path, for me specifically, was extremely hard, and I know for a lot of people that it is. Letting go was like I said, just like, okay, whatever. But that's the thing about this path, is it's not letting go or surrendering to some invisible force that is outside of you, or that you don't know, or that you're trying to think of, or trying to like resonate with, or whatever. It's like, what am I surrendering to? A lot of times the divine feminine will feel, what exactly am I surrendering to? Okay, I'm surrendering to the path, surrendering to awakening, but what does that mean? What does that actually mean? I don't get it. What am I letting go of? So if I'm not letting go of my masculine, I'm not really letting go of the physical aspect of the masculine, I'm just not focusing on what the hell is happening, right? What's happening is that you as a soul is orchestrating everything, and you as an ego is panicking because of it. That's what's happening. And so when we're talking about surrender and we're talking about letting go, we're talking about actually surrendering into your true higher self. We're talking about surrendering into the true high vibratory state that is you. Because it's the true high vibratory state that is you that is orchestrating all of that shit to fall apart and your life to start looking like chaos. And we think it's all of these external things, right? And so the ego wants to blame these things, including the divine masculine, right? The physical masculine. We want to blame these things because we want to have some sort of control mechanism left, right? This is why ego death, dark night of the soul, feels so frightening and it feels so destructive. This is why the awakening process is described by a lot of ancient Zen philosophers as awakening isn't bringing you back into the light. It actually feels like a very destructive process because it is breaking away all the aspects of you that you think are you, which basically means the ego and the mind, right? It's breaking away all the things that you think are you. And so the parts of you that think that you are frantically trying to hold on to the parts of you that are thinking that are you. And so if someone, a coach, is telling you to surrender on this path, you're immediately like, hell no, I'm not surrendering. I'm not surrendering. I'm not letting go of all of these things, right? These are my identity. These are the things that are keeping me safe. These are the things that, and we have a tendency to feel that way because we're so used to leaning on the material world. We're used to leaning on the five senses. Like, that's what we know. That's what this experience is, right? But the experience of awakening and the experience of ascension and coming back to the true self, right? The higher self, the soul, God, creation, source, all that is having that awareness bit by bit, day by day, little by little, that source, God, creation, all that is, has got me. It's got me. I'm completely supported. I'm completely loved. I'm completely guided in every turn and every second of this path. You know, I already chose this path before I incarnated here. That's the thing. You chose it. You chose it. You knew you were going to awaken in this path. You knew that you were going to come into, you know, physical representation of yourself, reflecting yourself back to yourself through your masculine counterpart. You knew that. You knew, and you already planned everything that you had orchestrated, and all your family and all of these soul family members that are showing up in your external reality to play certain roles in order to bring you to the place that you are right now watching this. Right? That is what letting go means. Ultimately, it's coming back into love, right? It's coming back into the self. It's coming back into inner union and the awareness of, it's all been me doing this. It's all been me doing this for my own benefit. And it will continue to be me doing this for my own benefit. I'm ascending. I'm awakening, right? I'm letting go of those egoic structures that I've been experiencing as a soul. And I'm letting go of those egoic programmings and, you know, false identifications with self and, you know, the fear-based energies and all of these things that I've been experiencing as a soul and that are now still trying to keep me in those same paradigms because surrender sounds foreign. Surrender sounds scary. Surrender sounds like I don't know what I'm surrendering to. Well, it's you. It's you. It's like the highest aspect and the highest vibratory state of you. That's what you're surrendering to. It's not something out there, right? It's not something that you don't know. It's not something that you haven't known for all of your existence. You are love. You'll always be love. And you'll always be loved more than you could ever possibly imagine with your mind, or certainly with your ego, right? And so that's what this process is. It's coming back to the awareness that I am love, that I've always been love, that I'll always be love, and all of these things that are happening are being orchestrated by love to bring me back to love, to bring me back to the truth of who I am. And so I'm safe in that. I'm protected in that, right? That's what surrender is on this path. Does it take a while to really grasp that? Sure, yeah, it took me a long time. It took me a long time. But that is what it is. That is what surrender is, right? You're not surrendering to something, you know, something outside of you, something foreign from you, something that, you know, isn't you. It is you. It's fully and completely you. It's fully and completely you. You know, like, this is your soul. The amazing, immaculate soul, the perfection that is you, that is literally guiding you, supporting you, loving you, orchestrating this entire thing to pull you out of separation consciousness and the pain body and the structures of the ego and all of the fear-based energy and saying, okay, come on home, back to love. Because this is who you are, it's who you've always been. And that's the craziest thing about this path, is the paradoxical aspect of it. As I keep saying, it is such a paradox. It's like the craziest thing. And the mind just gets so wrapped up and tripped around and rolled all up in that. Because that sort of stuff, what I'm saying, that sounds to a lot of people, especially if you're in the beginning stage of this path, of like woo-woo, new age shit, right? What the hell are you even talking about, Lalana? I get it. Like I do, I understand it. I know a lot of the things that I share on here are if you're in the beginning stages of this path, and sometimes even the middle stages of this path, that are just gonna be like, they just seem like they're out there, right? They seem like they're out there. But if you've been awakened by your twin, like, game on, right? The show is on. And at some point, a lot of the stuff that I'm sharing on this path is just gonna click. It's just gonna click, right? You're just gonna come into resonance with it. It's just going to align, and things are just going to fall into place. So it just depends where you're at on the path as you're watching this video, right? If you're in the middle of an ego death, if you're in the middle of Chaosville, you know, if you're coming into the beginning stages of inner union and starting to get a taste of what that is, it depends on where you're at. But regardless of all of that, you are being completely and utterly supported. And it's, I think, the most important component to understand if we're going to understand anything, and if we're going to give our mind any real thing to like really like look at and focus on. If the mind needs something to do, give it that to do. Soul has got you. Higher self, source, God, creation, all that is, has got you. It's not going to let you down. And so that's how you surrender on this path. Because you're not flying off on your own, letting your ego try to navigate this thing that it can't. And it keeps spinning you around in circles and keep bringing you back to base one, because you never really get anywhere that you want to go when you're following the ego. And that's what creates all of those loops, and you keep having the same outcome, right? And so it's like the other side is saying, but you could trust. But you could trust your higher self, but you could just surrender to your higher self, right? You could surrender to the path and just allow it to take you, right? That's what I have for you guys. I hope that you guys have an awesome day.